My learning story really started in late middle school. Of course, I'd obviously been going to school before that, but much like any child, you don't really pick up that much or think about what you're learning. It was in about ninth grade where that kind of changed. I'd been going to school online for several years, and I was learning a lot and engaging with the material, which is, of course, what you want. However, the work was kind of easy. A lot of it, there wasn't a lot of presentation. It was just they give you a worksheet and you complete it. So I didn't really have much of a work ethic because most of the things could be completed in a couple hours, if that. So following that, I decided to go to KSS, and it was a difficult transition. I had a lot of trouble making new friends, but I really wanted to have the experience of going to a high school in person, and I felt that it would help me discover a lot of new interests and get more of a work ethic, which obviously would be necessary for university. At that point, I didn't have a job or anything because I was somewhat lazy. Upon coming to KSS, I obviously had a bit of difficulty at first. You don't know anyone. Anyone who's moved to a new school or moved to a new city can attest to that fact. But I started to become interested in different types of activities, different things that I never knew about before or never really thought about. It was at that point where I became interested in public speaking. I love speaking in front of a crowd. I like just coming up with things off the top of the head. It's engaging and challenging, and in fact, that's what I'm doing now. I don't really have a script for this. I have a few rough ideas written down on a piece of paper, but that's about it. The first class that I really started to learn a lot of a work ethic in was oddly enough, it was in metal shop class. A lot of people take that as a class to, just kind of have fun and just kind of mess around, but I didn't see it like that. You had the opportunity to use a lot of these tools and learn a lot of these new things that you didn't really get to elsewhere, and I didn't want to waste that opportunity. So I worked very hard. I learned a lot of new things, and I even got extra work done. I finished everything early, even though coming into that class I had no experience working in a shop, no experience metalworking, and there were people there that had taken it in middle school before, and obviously I didn't get that chance. But by the end of, even the first couple weeks, I was finishing stuff first. I was getting stuff done early because I just thought that was important. In fact, I'll include a picture of it, but this year I finished everything so early I had time to build a metal trebuchet, which I actually had to completely design from scratch because there was no plans anywhere for actually how to build one out of metal. There were plenty of designs for building one out of wood, but obviously it doesn't quite translate into metal because of the different density and strength of the material. You don't need anywhere near as much metal in order to achieve the same strength, and the same dimensions for the frame has to be done differently. So that was difficult, but it taught me a lot of work ethic skills. Also, I shouldn't discount other classes. The first class that really I went way out of my comfort zone in was English 11. That had a lot of in-class presentations and discussions, something I was not comfortable with at all before. But that really taught me the importance of being able to speak in front of people. I had, a lot of ideas, I had a lot of things to say, but I just didn't have the confidence to say them. And being kind of forced to in school was what kind of gave me that. So after that, kind of the end of 11th grade, I started to become interested in business and law. Before then, I didn't have any real interests. I just kind of knew I wanted to make money. I was always going to go to college, but I didn't know for what. But I started to have an interest in law. I watched, you know, some legal dramas and things on TV, and that started to kind of produce an interest in it, and also business. I just thought the idea of mostly, you know, entrepreneurship and owning your own business is very attractive, because you get to come up with your own ideas, you get to work for yourself, you know, kind of be your own boss. I mean, a lot of people enjoy that idea, and especially since at that point I'd started working and I'd learned just how hard it was to actually make money. So, you know, obviously, the idea of getting a job like being a lawyer, which obviously pays a lot of money, and it was something I was very interested in, or owning your own business where, I mean, it's not even really work, because you are following your passion, your own ideas, and you're doing things that you think will make money for yourself. Obviously, that's, in my opinion, is not really work. If you're following your dreams, I mean, you're not really working. But it was kind of in the 12th grade where I really learned more about that. I took economics with Mr. Kletke in the 3rd quarter, and that really opened my eyes to a lot of new concepts about business that I didn't know about before, and that actually inspired me to this is before I'd taken the class, but the fact that I'd taken the class inspired me to apply for management at UBC, which I was accepted into, and I'm going to be attending next year. So that really gave me the confidence to do that, and I had some doubts about it, but then taking that class really affirmed that yes, that was the right choice. It was what I was interested in, and it helped me with that. So that's kind of more or less where we're at now. Obviously, I'm taking English 12 right now. I'm loving that class, and I feel like I've learned a lot coming to KSS. And if I hadn't, I definitely would not be the person I am today. Would not have the same confidence, you know, the same abilities, the same skills. I think it would be in a much worse position than I am now if I hadn't. So thank you for listening.